Many, if not all, the symptoms experienced during menopause might be directly connected to a specific energy center in your body. Today, we are going to explore how understanding our subtle body, which is our energetic anatomy, can revolutionize our menopause experience. Menopause isn't just a hormonal transition. It's a reckoning with what we've tolerated, what we've silenced, and what we've postponed in our own bodies. Drawing upon inspiration from ancient wisdom, we are able to tap into our energy centers of our being through practices such as yoga, meditation, and breathwork. And so when we tap into these energy centers, we are able to unlock our healing potential, fostering balance and harmony within ourselves. And by aligning these energy centers, we can enhance our ability to communicate effectively and express our needs confidently and effortlessly in our healthcare systems. See, when hormones shift, the nervous system loses its old buffering capacity. What we've stored emotionally, physically, and energetically, it rises, comes to the surface. And this is why the chakra system is such a powerful lens for menopause. Not because it replaces science, but because it helps us organize our lived experience. And so in today's episode, we are going to focus on 3 specific chakras that every woman needs to clear in menopause to be able to advocate for her health and reclaim agency. And those 3 are the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, and the throat chakra. And when you learn these simple, accessible ways to begin balancing, you will have the most enriching, powerful menopause experience. In fact, you'll be so in control of your menopause. In certain circumstances, you might not even know it is happening to you. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to the Menopause Disruptor podcast. And if you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad you found me. And if you're a returning listener, thank you for continuing to tune in to each and every episode. Okay, just a little disclaimer. I am recording this on the 222 portal day. And if you've listened to my episode of the 111 portal, which I recorded on January 1st, you'll start to understand some of the key messages that arises for 2026. See, 2026 is a very potent one. I had stepped into a beautiful portal led by one of my spirit intuitives and channelers. Every teacher needs her own teacher, right? Every coach needs her coach. And my coach, well, actually, there's a few of them, all resonated the same message. There is no time to plan. We don't have to have the perfect strategy to step into 2026 and achieve our goals and chase after our passions. We just need to move. Movement, that forward motion momentum of the year of the horse, which has arrived at February 17th, teaches us one thing. We've got legs, we've got to run. We've got an idea, put it into practice. This is your year. But my spirit teachers have been telling me as well, and when I say spirit teachers, these are actually living human beings. But let's not mistake the fact that I do also channel my guides. I listen to their messages. They're loud, front and center today. And what they were trying to say is, with this reset, much like menopause, it's like this golden opportunity to have another chance, but not just a chance. It's about laying the foundation and building the structure for the patterns, for the things that you want to establish for the next 9 years. But we have to really lean into that divine feminine energy, that intuition that helps us go after it, that gut feeling kind of, that instincts that, we know best, but society says no. Well, this is what is coming through for me. And the idea of this episode also came through to me loud and clear. See, next to loving numbers so much, I love the chakras. I've done so many different courses learning about aligning the chakras, which one is associated with what facets of our body, both physically and energetically, as well as emotionally and mentally. And now I'm starting to see this big picture all start to unfold. Numbers, the chakras, menopause, education, and coaching. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, literally, as I worked through today with one of my leader teachers. I've got to teach women about aligning the chakras through their menopause transition and beyond, let's face it, so that they can really step into their purpose and their power. But I wanted to focus on 3 because these 3 were coming up for me, and I've built them out in greater definition or greater explanation in my Menopause Intelligence course. I'll share the link in the show notes. It's an 8-module, go at your own pace course on getting the intelligence that everybody needs to learn about menopause, from the science of her hormones to the spiritual nature of her energetic body. And there's one module completely dedicated to the chakras. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't include that in this course, because so much of the work I do, both in teaching yoga and meditations, has a lot to do with balancing and aligning the chakras. But these 3, the sacral, the solar plexus, and the throat, came up for me because the Menopause Intelligence course will teach you how to advocate for your health needs with your healthcare team. How to ask questions. Is menopause hormone therapy right for me? Can I get certain lab tests and screenings to track my health? How do I incorporate changes in my lifestyle? All these questions that we go to our doctors to ask about our menopause journey, and quite frankly, are not met with the right answers or the right attitude from a medical team, because medical practitioners outside of their initial training does not focus on women's health, menopause, and hormonal health. This is a relatively new thing. And unless our doctors have continuing education courses specifically focused on menopause care, they're not going to have all the right answers, which is why you would turn to coaches and different resources on the internet, social media, to get all the right answers. But nobody's talking about the chakras in this space, and that's some of my specialty as a menopause doula. Before we get into it, let's explain what all of these chakras are about in general terms. When you can understand energy, your energetic body, and the subtle body, this will help establish a deeper comprehension of how energy works throughout your body, and in essence, your ability to heal from sickness, illness, and even emotional trauma. Energy is information that vibrates throughout our body. Scientific research has shown that everything is energetic and carries information. This is data that instructs an atom, for example, to carry out its function through vibration at a specific energetic level. Science confirms that everything in the universe vibrates. When matter was reduced to its purest basic state, the atom, it was observed to be in constant motion, continuous vibration. And particles or matter that make up an object or an organism that vibrates at its own unique frequency, this is called the law of vibration. This invisible energy system is what our ancestors understood deeply and what modern medicine is beginning to recognize. It's like having a second body, an energetic body, basically, that overlaps with your physical one. And this energy body is where our emotions, our thoughts, and our spiritual experiences live. And this is why ancient practices like meditation, yoga, energy work, somatics can be so powerful during menopause. They work with your body, both physical and energetic. And when you understand that you're working with all the body systems, suddenly those alternative holistic practices make a lot more sense. This subtle energy is often referred to as force or life force. It's invisible to the human eye, but plays a significant role in how we experience energy beyond the physical realm. Subtle energy is imperceivable to the 5 senses, not easily measured, and yet our ancestors understood human energy using their inner senses. Subtle energy in the body moves faster than the speed of light, and it is magnetic in nature. And this is what's called the law of attraction. Like attracts like. Now, without getting into too much quantum physics, because that's not my area of expertise, but I am fascinated by it, it's important to note that subtle energies differ from physical energy, and yet it can influence it and be influenced by it. And this concept brings me to the topic of our chakra system. In Hindu philosophy, chakras are subtle energy centers located along the spine. And within the innermost core of the Sushumna Nada, so that's our spine, basically, there are subtle energy channels that run up and down our spine. It carries all of our spiritual energy. Now, nadis are technically invisible channels of energy, or channels that carry our life force. And they are so closely associated with the chakras and are so best understood in relation to them. The word nadi comes from Sanskrit nad, N-A-D, meaning movement. And in ancient Hindu scripture, it is described as a stream. Nadis transport various subtle energies throughout the entire body, acting as streams or delivery systems, if you will, for the chakras to help clear, manage, and balance both the physical and the subtle body systems. Whoa, this is getting really sciencey, but bear with me, geek out with me, because it's very helpful to understand. And you are intelligent women, and the more knowledge we have, the more power we have, so that we can apply this intelligence, which is the definition of wisdom. In our body, there are over 72,000 nadis, with 36,000 on each side representing the feminine. So on our left side is the feminine side, and on the right side, that's our masculine side. These nadis play an important role enabling the flow of life energy from the lowest chakra, which is at the base of our spine and governs the energy of our lower body, and then upwards to the crown, inviting the light and vitality into our bodies. Like I said, there are 7 major chakras that align along the spinal column at specific points. And these specific points are where the feminine and the masculine nadis intersect, functioning like spinning wheels of energy that should flow freely for optimal health and spiritual balance. In fact, chakra means spinning sphere or wheel. So think of your chakra system as a computer hardware system. If it goes wrong, the software can't run optimally. Likewise, when your chakras are out of balance, your internal systems can't run optimally. Chakras are the energetic core of our entire existence. Literally, they are power centers that generate and distribute subtle energy throughout our body. All 7 of these centers play unique roles and are important in a woman's health. But of the 7, I'm focusing on 3 in this episode, and you can check out my Menopause Intelligence course for a deeper dive. And if you stick around to the end, I have even more exciting news about how we can look at all 7 of these chakras live together throughout the entire year of 2026. Because remember, this is the year of just doing, going forth and trusting your gut and doing. And this is what downloaded for me today, is that I need to offer you this course and this opportunity. So I'm going to give you a very basic overview of these 3. The sacral chakra is also known as the Svadhisthana. It's responsible for pleasure, for hormones, and emotional health in our body. The sacral chakra governs our ovaries and reproductive hormones and health, our emotional fluidity, our creativity and sensuality, and our relationship with pleasure. When estrogen fluctuates, many women experience loss of libido, pelvic discomfort, emotional flatness, if you will, or complete overwhelm, and a feeling of being disconnected from their desire altogether. Sometimes even disconnected to self and disconnected to creativity. From a chakra perspective, menopause doesn't remove pleasure. It exposes how often we postpone it. In other words, we push aside our own needs and self-care and pleasures so that we can be the doers of everything else, the caregivers, the providers, the career woman. If anything is going to take a backseat, it's our own pleasure center. And I've done several episodes on this. You can go back and have a listen to those very essential and exciting episodes to learn about why we do suppress it and what we can do to change that so that we are taking care of our sacral chakra. To rebalance this chakra or any chakra, it's not a case of fixing. It's a matter of restoring or rebalancing. And in the case of the sacral chakra, we are restoring that sense of safety and sensation and sensuality in order to get back our libido. That is just one small advantage to balancing the sacral chakra. Things that you can do to balance it or realign it: color therapy, wearing orange. Orange is the color associated with the sacral chakra. Wear it, surround yourself with it, eat it. You can even slip into meditation and visualize the color orange and invite the sensation of what orange feels like in your body using all 5 senses. The smell of orange, the texture. You will just be amazed at what visualization techniques can do, not just for nervous system regulation, but for brain health. Other therapies: yoga, simple yoga postures, pelvic opening shapes like seated hip circles, the goddess pose, reclined bound angle, cat-cow with emphasis on the pelvic tilt. Movement here should feel sensual, slow, and not necessarily goal-oriented, but more sensation-oriented. When I teach my primal flow classes, I emphasize to let your body feel sensual, snake through the spine, for example, and allow yourself to welcome whatever sensations come up when you're in a pose. So when we're doing poses that emphasize sacral chakra balancing and realignment, it's really about allowing openness, sensuality, pleasure, desire, without pelvic discomfort, of course. Food is medicine. Orange foods also support your sacral energy. Oranges, mangoes, papaya, sweet potato, squash, carrots. Then there's essential oils and aromatherapy. Sweet orange, for example, clary sage. You can diffuse, or you can even apply them diluted with water over the lower belly to cue safety and softness. The next one up the line of chakras is immediately after our second chakra, the solar plexus chakra, Manipura. This is our third chakra center, and this is where menopause often gets loud because the solar plexus governs digestion and metabolism and blood sugar regulation, and even confidence and self-trust, boundaries, agencies, the power to take control, the power to act, the power to do. And in menopause, a lot of this gets disrupted. We experience gut health issues, digestion problems, weight changes, foods that we used to enjoy no longer can tolerate. Other emotions come up, such as rage, resentment, deep fatigue, and the sudden inability to keep pushing through. Our power center can take a real hit, not just from the brain fog and fatigue, but because we're starting to realize that we've always been doing without the self-care and self-nurturing. And so this is why it's really important that this chakra not be overridden. You need to take a look at it. Similar to the sacral chakra, balancing practices include color therapy, and yellow, which is associated with the solar plexus. It stimulates clarity, confidence, and metabolic fire. And not in terms of intensity of its power or its heat, but in terms of what it can bring to free us of this dark overriding shadow, if you will, and to bring lightness. That's why it can be such a powerful color to wear or to surround yourself in. Even taking a warm bath and surrounding yourself in the golden light of candles, one of my favorite things to do for relaxing the nervous system and opening up the solar plexus chakra. Yoga postures, again, they also help with this chakra balancing and alignment. Think of contained strength, like containing strength in your core area. So planks, or in Vinyasa flow, warrior 1, warrior 2 postures, boat pose as well, where we really have to recruit a lot of abdominal strength to hold our balance. And then postures that recruit a lot of obliques, twisting either spine twists on our backs or standing twists. Again, it's not about force. In these postures, we want to have that sensation of self-trust under load, trusting the gut, literally and figuratively, and letting your core take on the load. And foods, again, food is medicine for supporting your digestion and your energy. Ginger, turmeric, pineapples, bananas, really helpful. And warm spices, they help rekindle digestive fire without overstimulation. Essential oils include lemongrass, lemon, grapefruit, cardamom, cedarwood, even black pepper. These essential oils have a warm, spicy, citrusy aroma, which helps promote clarity and inner strength. Again, you can use them in your diffuser, topical application, or a few drops in a nice warm bath. And then we move on to the throat chakra, the Vishuddha, which is associated with voice, advocacy, and truth. This is our 5th major chakra center. And this is where menopause becomes almost diplomatic, political. See, think of your throat chakra as governing communication, self-expression, advocacy, especially in healthcare, and truth-telling. As estrogen declines, women often lose tolerance for being dismissed, ignored, or minimized. But sometimes we've silenced our throat, our voice, our truth speaking for so long that it's hard to advocate because this throat chakra has literally been cut off, closed off. And that spinning wheel associated with this chakra, she ain't moving all that great. So we need to balance it, align it, open it. Looking at color therapy, blue. Blue soothes the nervous system and also supports expression. So wear it, blue, beautiful turquoise and blue scarves around the neck. Sound and humming therapy is so good. And I didn't speak of this with the other two chakras, but it so makes sense when it comes to expression and communication for the throat chakra. Humming is one of the fastest ways not only to stimulate the vagus nerve, but it also helps clear throat stagnation. So try this. Inhale through the nose. Hum gently on the exhale, any sound that comes to mind. Maybe making noise with your lips, and start to feel that vibration in the throat and even in the chest. You don't need any words, although singing is great, but the body reacts and understands vibration. Again, vibration, energy carries with it a unique frequency and a vibration. Each chakra is associated with a unique hum as well. So if you take a look at my Menopause Intelligence course, we get into this deeply with each of these 3 chakras. Yoga poses. Fish pose. Either supported with blocks or a bolster. Again, it's opening up the throat. Even the camel pose, where the upper chest and the throat are wide open, or in reverse, where we're compressing the throat, such as in a forward fold, pyramid pose, for example. Shoulder shrugs, rolling the shoulders are really good also for opening up through the throat chakra. And any of those postures that allow you to open up through the chest, even lying down in a reclined, bound angle posture, for example, in restorative yoga. Foods that support this chakra, warm teas and honey to soothe the throat. Foods that are the color of blue. The richer the blue, the darker, the better. Like purple cabbage, blueberries, blackberries, and also foods that are warm and moist, like soups and broths. And the reason is because a lot of dryness in our throat often mirrors unexpressed truth. So it's really important that we bring lots of moisture to this area as we're starting to open up this chakra and learn how to express our truth and advocate for our healthcare needs. And then essential oils associated, eucalyptus, peppermint, even frankincense. And you can even apply a little bit of diluted oil to the neck area. These 3 chakras, when they are better balanced, more aligned, open, and energy is moving, flowing freely and moving smoothly, we're able to tap into our power of purpose, the power of doing, advocating, and expression. See, at our sacral center, that's our creative center associated with reproduction. But as we were birthing in second spring that menopause invites, we are moving into a bigger role of birthing a wiser woman. Energy in the sacral chakra can get stuck for a number of reasons, but it's important that we keep that open so we have creative expression and so that we can advocate for what's important in our health, from pelvic floor health to overcoming emotional flatness or overwhelm, often associated in menopause, commonly stored in the sacral chakra. Solar plexus, dealing with the physical from the digestion problems and cortisol regulation in the gut microbiome, regulating our blood sugar levels and keeping our insulin low and maintaining insulin sensitivity, to moving on to confidence and self-trust and respecting our boundaries while at the same time having the power to take agency. And then, of course, all this expression is housed in the throat chakra, which is where we find our voice, our advocacy, and our truth. So this is why I focused on these 3 chakras in my Menopause Intelligence course. But wait, we will go deeper in 2026 and put this all together with all 7 of the major chakras. Outside the Menopause Intelligence course, I'm excited to announce the Menopause Café. This will be a live session once a month, and each month we will gather for a journey together in a live space through one of the chakras at a time, exploring how it governs our body, what happens when it's underreactive, and what happens when it's overreactive, and then practices that can get it aligned and balanced. From physical expression, emotional expression, mental patterns, and energetic and spiritual invitations. This Menopause Cafe will be educational, it will be experimental, and most certainly community-based. I'm offering this for 2026. It will be offered to you on a sliding scale, anywhere from $4 to $44, because it's really important that I make this accessible to you. You can register through Eventbrite, which will be linked in the description below. There is absolutely no pressure, no judgment. And I chose that range of 4s because my birth number is 4. It's so powerful. I have 3 of them tattooed on my left arm, and my daughter has a matching one tattooed also on her left arm. 4s show up for me all the time. 4:44 in the afternoon, an address. I just see them. And before, I kid you not, I sat down to hit record. I took a quick look at the clock. And what time do you think it was? Of course, 4:44. So let's bring it all back full circle. Menopause isn't asking you to be quieter, smaller, or more compliant. It's everything but that. Menopause is asking you to feel again, to choose again, and to speak your truth again. Not from a place of urgency, from a place of wisdom. Clearing the sacral, solar plexus, and throat chakras are just 3 of the important chakras to clear for our menopausal health journey and helping you become someone new, someone you are birthing into. It's also about reclaiming the woman who was always there, waiting for permission that she no longer needs. She just has to reach out and grab it. 2026 is the year that is boldly asking us to trust, to take those big chances. Go back and listen to my meditation podcast to understand why. There is so much energy in this year. And when it's coupled with the year of the horse or the fire horse, wow, there is so much energy. Again, you don't need to have that plan. You just have to know that you need to do. Thank you so much for joining me on this special podcast episode about our chakras, allowing me to send a beautiful invitation to you to join the Menopause Café. We will be meeting every month, first one April 12th. The details will be in the description below. I hope to see you there. Until such time, be bold, feel your feelings, speak your truth. Namaste.